I'm showing you how we can, what are the topic we are going to cover today. The first thing is we are going to learn what is OOPS programming. Generally, in all the programming languages, we do the OOPS programming. OOPS programming is the best thing for the real world entities because it has five or six types of types, just like inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, data abstractions. Okay, so it will create a new object on the basis of these things. Inheritance also the part of the OOPS programming. So by these method we can create the new object in the Python programming. So it we will known is as OOPS, or in the full form it is like object oriented programming. So here we are doing the programming on the basis of object and classes. It aims to implement real world entities like inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulations in the programming. And the main concept of OOPS is to bind the data and function that work on that together to give a single unit so that no part of the code can access this data. What is the main motto and the main advantage of using the class is that whenever we are giving a code to a particular class or taking some output by giving them a input, so that the data is not scattered over there to taking some output. So we have to create the class, and in that class we have to create the object, and we done it by some method which is known as inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism, data abstraction. We will see it in the future how we can do these uh, topics and what is the benefit of using all these. Is it okay? Yeah, object is also there. Yeah, Katla Malika. Inheritance means inherit one class feature into other class. It is just like a parent-child method. Just like a child inherit all the uh, qualities of the parents to them, it is just like that. So whenever we create an inheritance class, it all take the classes or object and attribute from the parent class. Okay, so what is class? Class is a collection of object. And what is object? Object is a real entities, just like integer, character, variables, different type of attributes. We are seeing it in the next slide also. So a class is a collection of object. A class contains the blueprint or the prototype from which the object are being created. And how we can create the class? Class is being created by using the object of that particular class. You can, if you want to create any object, you are free to create that. You don't have any issues to create them. My class is a local entity that contains some attribute and method. What are these attributes and what are these methods? Attribute is just like a variables which we are using, or we are calling the class or the functions in them. And method is the mm, how we can call that particular class or a class or object. So understanding this, we have create a class. For example, how many track the number of dogs. For example, we have to track how many numbers of dog we have in our breed. A dog has some breed, age. It is a list is used. The first element could be dog's breed, while the second element could present its age. Let's suppose there are 100 different dogs. Then how would you know which element is supposed to which? Okay, so for that reason, we are using the class and the object. So we can create a single class, then we are creating 100 new object, 100 different type of new object for 100 different dogs, because the breed and the age both are different for every dog. All the dogs are not of same breed, and all the dogs are not of same breed, and all the dogs are not of the same age. So we have to create it the object. Yeah, object is a runtime entity. Sheikh Mohammed, my screen is not visible to you. Okay, so for that reason, we have to create a different type of object for the different type of dogs, because all the dogs are not of the same breed and all the dogs not have the same age. So what we want to add other properties, and if we want to create the other properties in that, it is just a single line of code. I will show you how you can create a class and an object, and then you can initialize the values to it. Okay, so now the second thing is object. So what are my object? Object is an entity that has some behavior and state. Just like my object, what is my object in the previous example? Here my object are age and its breed. So it has some behavior. It has some state and behavior associated with a particular object. Just like in the real world, we have a mouse, keyboard, chair, table, pen. They all are the object. But when we are talking about the computer system or the programming language, there we have the object like list, string, different type of numerical values, dictionary. All the things are my object. Okay, so when so how we can know that what is our object and what is not? So an object consists of a particular state. It has some state. It is represented by attribute of an object, and it has some properties also. For example, if I'm talking about a person, then what the state they have? They have some properties, like they can speak, they can walk, they can run, they can write. These all are the properties of a particular person. Okay, and if I am talking about the behavior, so how he or she can be behave in that particular manner. And what is the identity? So the name, age, um gender, they all are the identity of a person. So whenever we create the object, we have to take the knowledge of these all things: state, behavior, and the identity. Okay, is it okay to all? Guys, whomsoever is not having my visible screen, they can pin me or check their internet connection also. If all the student have the problem, then I can understand that it is by my side. If you particular person are not, Chandrasekhar, class is a collection of object, as we have taught, studied earlier, that the collection of something is known as something like that. So the here the object is a collection of The collection of object is known as class. We have different type of object in the class. Yeah, you can say that data. Explain about behavior. Okay, I'm telling you, like whenever I'm creating a particular class, just like a person. So how you can define the behavior of the person on the what behalf? So the behalf of that person is that he can speak, he can talk, he can run, he or she can be right also. So all these behavior. So whenever we are creating object, we have to consider it that we have to generate object in these manners, like it has particular state, it has a particular behavior, or it has any identity of that particular object. Okay, Karthik. In object, the two things are important whenever we are writing the class program. The first thing is that self. This self, this self is used in the class for it is just like a constructor. The constructor means to construct a particular program in the Python. So here we are using self in the Python to construct a class or construct a method. Class method must have an extra first parameter in the method. I will show you how you can use this in the code when I will show you how in the Google Colab. Don't worry about that. This is a similar to the pointer in the C++ and this reference in the Java. It is just like a reference also. And whenever we are using the pointer in the C++, so the self function is used in the Python as a reference for determining something to the object or the class. When we call a method of this object as myObject.method, the method is here is a program in the class which we have written, and my object is the object which I am creating for a particular class. And this can be changed after some time. If I don't want to my object dot method, then I am going to like that. We have assigned some different thing in that. Like I want only the object, then I will assign like object calling the class and dot method argument 2. This is automatically convert by Python into my class dot method. Whenever I am calling this my object dot method, it will create the my class dot method and create these objects. Okay, this is the functions of using the self in the Python programming. We can use the second method also, which is the init method. This init method is using for creating a construct in the constructor in the C++ and Java. And in the Python, we have to use this init method to define something. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you can program using these. So yeah, perform of the process. I'm showing you how you can create a particular class. So for creating a class, you have to just define a class, and using that class, whatever the class, you can give any name over here. So I have created a class which name is dog, and then I am giving a variable attribute 1 or attr1, which is known as mammal. And whenever you are creating a class, the first thing you have to use this define init. Okay, in this define init, you have to pass argument. The first argument is always the self, and the second argument when what we are using in the particular program. So here I am using the name program. Okay, and then we have to assign this with self dot name. Self is your dot operator is used for the reference. So self is my pointer, which is pointing that one whenever the name is came from this name, we have to assign it with the name. Okay, so I have created a Roger object here with defining a dog which is a class, and Roger, this is the name which I am defining over here. Okay. Now, when I'm calling this Roger, dog Roger, and Tommy is equals to dog Tommy, then it will print here, it give nothing. But if I'm printing like print, just wait to connect them to the server. My voice is not audible to you all. Atili Pavan Kumar, what's happening with you? You are not able to or listen me. Okay, okay, okay. So over here, I have created a class which name is dog, and then created a attribute variable over here, which is state as mammal. Then define the init function. Whenever you are calling a class method, you have to define this init function in that. And then you can give the self as a always as a attribute, uh, as an argument, as a first argument. Then you have to define the different type of the name or the age or the thing we are using as an argument in the other. For example, over here, if I am using dog Roger and I am creating another function like uh, for example, I have created a Roger and then the last name is Williams. Okay. So when I am calling this, it is clearly shows that the dog class is taking only a single argument. Why? For this, we have to see this init method. So here also we have to define a L name. L name. And then this L name is creating a L name as a reference. We have to use the self method and then defining the self name is equals to name. Okay. And when I'm calling this dog Tom, Tommy STP, for example, anything I'm giving to them. So it will print that Roger is a dot format. Here I have using this dot format, and in the Roger class where my attribute is one. So my what is my attribute over here? It is mammal. So it will print Roger is a mammal and Tommy is also a mammal. And when I am printing my name is dot format Roger dot name, and over here also I have used this and with the curly braces I'm dot for name, and over here with comma I am creating the Roger, which is my class. Dot is for the reference and L name, the second argument. And over here if I am calling this, it is like Tommy dot L name, and I have to use this over here also. So it will print unindent self does not match the waiter. Okay, is L name first of all. And over here I have to remove it. Unindent. An indent does not match the any outer indentation. Okay, what is happening over here? Okay, guys, we have to remove this. It is giving the error something like. So first it is print as Roger is a mammal. Second, Tommy is also a mammal. And my name. When we call the Roger dot name, then in the Roger dot name, the name is defined as name Roger. So it will print like my name is Roger, and then it will print my name is Tommy. It is clear to you all? No, guys, it is giving the unindented indented error. It means that something is happening with the tab. Okay. So now I'm going to show that it is the method we have printed it. Like we have to print the particular thing. And now we are calling by using the object function. Okay, we define this print method in the functions over the in the class, and then I will print that particular function. For example, over here I have created the same function, the class which is defining with the dog, and then define init method. In that init method I will passing argument as a name and self. Then I have created the speak function. In the speak function I have only passed the argument as a self, and whenever this self is passing in that, it will go to this init method, and whatever the init method is containing, it will already come into this part. So I will print my name is this and dot format using self dot name. So whenever I am calling this dog dot speak function and the object dot speak function, it will give me the particular object with the name. Okay, so I have created a Roger object over here with this class dog and the name which I am providing, which is Roger. And then I am calling this dog function as a Tommy, created a object Tommy, and then passing the name Tommy. Then I am calling this function Roger dot speak or Tommy dot speak. It will print my name is Roger, then it will print my name is Tommy. Okay, is it clear to you? Is the class and object function is clear to you? Explain once again. Okay. So the class method and all is using for the OOPS programming. So firstly, we have to create a class using a class name, class, and then defining a particular name. Okay. So in that, firstly, you have to define the init method, which is used as a constructor to construct a particular program. Then you have to use the self as a first argument all the time, because this self act as a pointer. In the C++ or in the Java, it has some pointer method. So in the Python, we have the self as a pointer method, and dot is for used for the referencing. So self dot name is equals to name. Whenever I am creating this is the same. These two lines are same for the all the program. Firstly, you have to define a class, and then you have to define the init method in that. Okay. Then I have created a second function, which is my speak function. In that speak function, I have given the argument as self, and then I am using my name is dot format self dot name. This self is doing the work over here, is that it will transfer this to this init method, and the name which I am using over here, it will print the same value in the output over here. Is it okay? In the previous okay, now I have created a Roger as an object and passing the name. For example, if I'm changing is uh, Julie. Okay. So whenever this is the name of that particular dog. Okay. So my name is Julie. Is still that uh, object is Roger, but the name is changed. So my output is also changed. So you can create and call the object with using the dot function. And if you print it, you can print with the print function. Okay, I'm showing the output. I have created the class object, which is dog, then attribute one defined as a mammal, self dot name. Is it okay? We have learned how to create the class, and then we have talk about the object. Okay, so over here I have defined a name. So what is the name? Name is my identity of a particular person. So we have created a object with using the identity. So we have to take care of these points also: state, behavior, and identity while creating any object. So now the second thing is that the different type of oops concept. The first type is that inheritance. Inheritance is the process by which we derive or inherit. We take the information from the another class in a particular class. It is just like a parent or a child class. Okay, it represent real world relationship well. It provides the reusability of a code. We don't have to write the same code again and again. For example, I have created a person object. Okay, so in the person object, I have given the two attribute, the first name and its ID number. So whenever I have in the use of these name and ID number, I will create a inherited class in which I am calling a object in a particular object. Okay. I will show you how you can inherit the values of the other. For example, over here, I have created a class person. In the person class, I have defined an object over here. Why I have defined the object over here? In the previous, I didn't give anything and I didn't use this symbol also. You can see this clearly that when I have created the dog class, I didn't give any argument. But when we created a class for the inheritance, we have to provide a argument as an object. Why? Because this object, whenever we are calling the object, it will inherit this person's information. So in that, I have defined the first init function, in that self and name and ID number. So the self.name is equals to name, self.id number is equals to ID number. And when I am calling the display function, it will display the name and the ID number of that particular person. Okay, now I have created a second class which is known as employee, because and I have inherited in the employee class, I have inherited this person class. Is it okay? In this employee class, I have inherited this person class. This is the method by which you can call the different object as a inherit the object. So over here, I have defined the init, and in it, I have defined the four argument. First is name, ID number, salary, and a post. This name and ID number is got inherited from this person class, and the remaining two, salary and post, we have to define over here. And now we have to use this. So first we have to define the person in it also. I have created an employee class in which I have called this person as an object. In that, it will print the person.init function also. Whenever we are calling a particular function or referencing to a particular function, we have to use the dot operator. Okay, so in the details, we have print this. My name is this, ID number is this, and post is this. So I have created a class over here. In the a class, I have given the employee as an object. Sorry, a is my object which I have created for this employee class. And this employee class, I have providing the name, my ID number, this is my salary, and this is my position. Yeah, this is my salary and this is my position. So when I am calling this a dot display, so this a dot display is going to the employee display. So employee display have employee display. Employee display function. So this is the class employee person, and when I have created the display function, it has been calling from over here, and it will print the first name and then the ID number. And when I have created the dot details function, it will give me this part of as a output. So firstly, it will print the Rahul, then 886. Firstly, it will print the Rahul, then 886012. Then as a position, it is intern. So Rahul, which is my name, which is derived from the display class, display function. 88602 is my ID number, which is also derived from the function display. And these all the details function, which are derived from the details function in the persons class. So we have the two class. First is a employee class. Second is my person class. Is it okay to all? Is it okay to all? Have you understood how you can create a class or defining something to them? Yeah, we have to call a function with the object name. In C, we don't have to mention column at the end of class name, but in Python programming, you are using column at the end of the class name. Is it is colon? Yeah, you have to use, because every programming language has different type of indentation, and it has the different type of set of rules to working on. It is simple. First, you have to define a class, CLASS, and whatever you have to take the class name, you have to put over there. And after that, you have to create a define init function in that. Syntax for object. Syntax for object is the all the arguments and the class name. Over here, I have defined this A is equals to employee and passing this values to them. These are the arguments of the employee class. And whenever I'm clicking on this employee, it is clearly so that this is the class, which is main dot employee. And if I'm clicking on it, it is showing nothing. Okay, now I'm clicking on this display on this A. So in the inheritance, you have the 4 or 5 type. First is single inheritance. Sometime you have to singly inherit the particular function. Sometime you have to inherit the more than one, multi-level inheritance. Third is hierarchical inheritance. Fourth is multiple inheritance. So these all are the type of the inheritance. The example of the single inheritance you have shown over here. This is the example of the single inheritance. Now the second is multiple inheritance. In that you have given a, you have created a, you have to create just like class one. I'm giving you just example. In class one, define the init function. Init. If you are not using any object in the class, just pass just like this. And this is the syntax of the Python 3. You have to use like the just like this, none. If you don't want to none, you have to write like this. Okay. Uh, Class not a single digit. You are using just like name. So you are using a first name, F name. Okay. Then I am using a class for the last name. Okay. And joining this, I have created the third class in which I am calling these two classes. class, which I am using the derived because it is derived from these two classes. And f name, and this is the L name, comma L name. And I am doing nothing. I am just defining the init function it all also, and just printing these values. So first I have to call the fname init function, fname dot init, by passing the self argument, then creating the lname init function also. And at last just print the derived over here. For example, over here I have provided the name and self dot name, self dot name, as assigning with, I am assigning with a name here also, and then the L name, this is the L, and over here we are using the L name. So it is name L name, and this is self dot L name. I have created the derived, which is not derived like this. Now I have created a object over here, just like person. In the person is equals to derived, and giving the name as James, last name as 007. And for printing these values, you have to create the another function over here, just like define print. In that you are just passing the self and print print what should you have to print. It is self dot name, comma self dot L name. Okay, at last now you have to create the person, and then uh, call this person dot print function. Okay. We have to use the different over here, like capital P, capital P. is the derived. In it, take one positional argument, but three were given. An argument over where okay, just wait. Yeah, Python is a case sensitive. Can Python support multiple inheritance? Yeah, it will support the multiple inheritance. For example, you have created a transport class, and in the different classes, you are creating just like car, motorbike, or different transport also. So you can create the multiple inheritance also. Like Java, should we use interfaces in this also, sir? Uh, on the Google Colab, Farhana, in multiple inheritance, sir. What is the use of interface in the multiple inheritance? Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, you can use the multiple. Okay. Okay. You have to define app name, comma, L name over here. Then Here it is F name and L name. Okay. Name is in the print statement. You have cell. You have to use the get function in the F name and the lname function because it is not returning something. So define the get function over here, get name, and defining over it is self. It is there, guys. Derived object has no attribute F name. Okay, in the first thing I have to check the derived object has no attribute F name. F name, first name, init, F name and full name. F name dot init. It will return What is happening here? Class. I have created the class. Created the objects. Guys, we will see the types of inheritance program tomorrow, and I will cover the last topic of today, which is the polymorphism. Polymorphism is also OOPS programming in that it is having the many forms. For example, we need to determine if a given species of birds fly or not. So we can use the polymorphism. For example, the some birds are don't fly, some birds are fly. So by using this polymorphism OOPS programming, we can do the program. So over here, I have created the program. Firstly, I have derived the class, which is my bird class, and then define intro, which is self, and there are many type of birds. Okay, then intro, then flight. Most of the birds can fly. This class is for the bird. Then I have created a class which is sparrow, and which is inherited from the bird class. Means sparrow is just like a inheritance in the bird class. And then I have created this for the ostrich also. So this is just like a inheritance. Now I will create three object. First is my object bird, which is derived the class from the bird. Object sparrow, the sparrow function. Then object ostrich, which is my ostrich. Now I will call object bird dot intro and flight. Then the object sparrow dot intro and flight, and then object is ostrich intro, then ostrich dot flight. So it will take the intro from the ostrich class and from the flight class, and this is my object, this is my dot is used for the reference. So first it will print there are many type of birds. Most of them, most of birds can fly, but some cannot. There are many types of bird. Sparrow can fly. So by using this sparrow uh, class, we can know that sparrow can fly. And by using the ostrich class, we know that ostrich cannot fly. And this is the ostrich and sparrow is a class we have created from the bird class. Okay, in the flight, we print the most of the birds can fly, but some cannot. And in the ostrich, ostrich cannot fly. Okay, 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 I will. So guys, it clear to you all the OOPS concept of the Python? It has some I didn't complete the whole topic today. I will cover it up tomorrow.